Now, welcome everyone who's not here yet. When you're watching this, I'm sure you'll be very surprised that we're greeting you. If I knew your names individually, I would greet all of you at the same time. And if I could speak words over each other all at the same time as well, that would be pretty cool. Nobody would know. Right? What would it be like?
Sounds awful. Subliminal messages.
Yeah.
Lots of
Like you could just be
I guess
talking.
so.
You could just be talking and greeting them at the same time.
No, it'll be like when Data listens to 6 different musics all at the same time and can understand each one of them individually.
Yeah, but we're not robots.
I know.
Except for Zuckerberg.
Well, no, he's a
Hold on.
a lizard person,
first.
right? Pretty
What?
sure. I thought
A lizard person?
Yeah, I think that Mark Zuckerberg's a lizard person. I believe that's the memes that I've seen going around. So obviously they're
man.
very true.
I've seen him compared to Data as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He is a dead look-alike to H.P. Lovecraft.
Is he really?
A little bit.
No, go
It's
look up
close.
H.P. Lovecraft pictures and then put Mark Zuckerberg right next to it. You'll see it.
Okay. You look
Hello,
up.
Death. How's it going? So tonight we are playing Iron Kingdoms.
Woo!
We are moving forward with our adventures in the Witchfire trilogy. I believe last game session, we ended with you all speaking with Father Dumas, who was asking you to please, for the love of God, get that sword back so he can put it where it came from, or so help him.
So help him.
And he also didn't want you to hurt his niece, even though she is apparently an evil sorceress. He thinks that she has some redeeming qualities, so please don't murder her.
Sure thing, buddy.
But
And,
self-defensing is fine.
Right.
And let's see, what else? Was there anything else major? Oh, and Zamora's dad left.
Zamora.
Yep.
Wrong
we're
game.
We're
Wrong
crossing
game.
now. We're crossing the streams.
It's a genre mashup.
It's a
Watch
genre
out.
mashup.
Oh no. Zamora.
Yeah, Inari's
Totally.
father. Inari's father gave her the ultimatum to leave, and she said, "No, Daddy, I'm an adult now." And he's like, "Okay, well, good luck, love you, bye." And then he left, heartbroken.
Later.
And gave the revenue stream umbilical a snip.
Yep.
So
What happened?
yeah.
Did she ever go on that date with the guy that was supposed to?
Nope.
Not yet, but
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that's coming.
Damn it. Why did you remind her?
We were talking about that before game. Don't
Yeah.
think that's something people have forgotten. The only person who's forgotten was probably John.
Probably.
What?
You remember the date thing?
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Everybody
you sold
remembers
her
it.
off.
Yeah. So
We all remember it because it was written in your diary when...
I considered having it happen while your father was here, but I didn't want to take away from the tension of and the emotional levity of that moment. Levity or brevity?
Brevity.
Brevity of that moment, and I thought that would be just too much. So I decided to shelf it for sometime later. Ish.
It's got a pin in it.
Yep. Don't worry, we'll get there one day.
That's okay. But the caveat to that date was I had to have a chaperone. So.
I don't believe that was definitely on the table. I think that
It was.
But that's because it was you were a child then. Now you're an adult. Adults
No, I
don't
still
need
need
supervision.
I still need a chaperone. Because I'm a lady.
Yeah.
Right.
I am!
Okay.
How dare you?
Well, so I believe that was at dinner. Right? That's when Father Dumas was there with you guys. Came
Yes.
in
Yes.
for dinner. I
Yes.
believe that he walked in on some really weird conversation at first, and
Yes.
everybody got really awkward real quick, and then you laughed about it. I don't
Yeah.
exactly remember what that conversation was. All I remember is everybody looking really awkward when it's like, there's somebody behind me, isn't there? That
Yep.
moment.
Oh yeah.
It was probably something about my diary. It's always about my diary.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I bet you in your diary there's a whole, like, 5 or 6 pages about how excited you are to go on the date with this very dark scoundrel. Oh, I bet you he's
And it's
so
probably right
bad.
after. And I bet you it's right after the pages where I wrote stuff in there.
Probably.
You wrote stuff in my diary?
Well, I've had a chance to read through it. I did
He made some
editing.
notes. Some annotations, I believe, is the appropriate word.
No, my character would never read your diary.
No.
Hagan's for that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Agon reads it to everybody, so no one else has to read it.
And he dramatizes it. It's really nice.
It's really
I believe it was. Guy, can you read this?
nice. Yeah.
Ye-
I believe that's almost exactly how it
Yeah.
started. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
But I
pop this
think
out.
that we just wanted to make sure that you could read it, not that we wanted you to read it, but then you volunteered to start reading it, and we could stop.
we were past that. It just
That's
happened.
fine. It happens. Reading diaries happens.
I'm gonna
It's
start
totally
writing it in a
natural.
different language that nobody knows.
All right, well, go ahead and note that I know Signar and Kadoran, Kervik, Mogar, and yeah. That's
Only
all I-
you will be able to read my diary from now on.
So, it was evening when we last left. You guys were having a great dinner with friends, commiserating and trying to make Inari feel like she's not gonna go upstairs and cry into her pillow all night.
But it's still gonna happen
Yeah.
when everybody's gone.
Oh, the things that pillow knows. The secrets you've told that pillow that aren't written in the diary.
Right?
Is there a spell that makes like inanimate objects tell the secrets that they?
Yes, there is a spell that will make a pillow talk.
Oh my gosh.
I will
Really?
throw it in the
'Cause
fire.
That's awesome.
It'll start talking, and I'll just like whip it into the fire, and
Shut
you'll
up,
hear
shut
all
up,
of its
shut up.
screams.
Help me.
Yes.
Every single feather in that pillow is gonna have a different story to tell.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So,
Hate all of you.
we will begin today's session with let's see, what are we doing? Who wants to go first? We've got okay, so here's where we wrapped up yesterday, or not yesterday, last game session with information that he thinks that she went to a hidden temple of Cyrus somewhere in a swamp or whatever.
That's what we know so far, yeah.
And he wants you to go there to figure out where it is, go there, get the sword back, hopefully bring Alexia back. But if she puts up a fight and it's between killing her and letting her go, he says to just let her go and she can be a wild child in the woods for the rest of her life or something. Yeah.
So I would like to go first because I still have to meet Taka at the works.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So we've got some stuff to do then. I think there's probably a couple other people that need to do stuff, but we will start with Inari. Inari, you spent you don't know how long it took you to fall asleep, but when you woke up, your pillow was still slightly damp with tears.
Mhm.
And you are very bleary-eyed. You decide not to look into a mirror because you don't really want to see the puffiness and the bloodshot eyes and like the evidence of a whole night's worth of crying. Just tell them that you have allergies. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will
At least be moving to wash my face and get dressed and make myself look as presentable as possible in my current lowered state of well-being.
Okay. So
My hair will not be up, but it will be brushed.
excellent. So you manage to stumble through your morning routine, and when you feel like you've kind of been, you are ready to head out of your room, it's about mid-morning or so, so you've got enough time to maybe get some coffee in ya, give yourself a pep talk, something.
Yep.
Before you head over to meet Taka at noontime.
Yep. Probably coffee, maybe some bread, depending on what they made for breakfast. Maybe a sausage. Times are lean.
Oh, how much money does your character have left right now?
I mean,
I know
I
that
do have.
you had some money that you got from your fool's errand stuff, and you've got some other things that have you've gotten that have been collected, but I don't think it's like a whole shit ton of money right now.
It's not a metric shit ton of money. It's about 300 gold,
Okay,
which
So
will
that's-
sustain in the city
for quite
for
some
a
time.
little bit.
Like, I mean, the average person in the city is not, they don't have that kind of money, and they'll never see that kind of money. So that's actually it's a small fortune for
Yeah.
the common folk of Corvus. Now you could spend that money real easily, though, if you
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know I could,
wanted.
but I'm gonna try to keep, I'll be very frugal and have, food, and I know how to make a ton of rice. 'Cause
Excellent.
rice.
Yeah. Well, you can make it yourself, but you don't have a kitchen area in the inn that you're at. You would actually have to consider buying a whole living space, because right now your room and board is covered in the Quad Iron Inn. So if you decided to have rice, you can just buy a big sack of rice and give it to them. It's like, all I want you to do is cook this for me. I want everything bland, so bland.
I would have a small thing of spices that I could gingerly sprinkle over my rice.
Spices that you cut with more spices to make the spice last longer.
Exactly.
Because
Spice
now
that you
you're
cut with
poor.
salt.
You're so poor with your 300 gold pieces.
Are you gonna do something like
I don't
cut the
know what
salt
it is to live with
sawdust?
this much money. How do you people live? No, I'm kidding.
It's called a paying job.
Oh, right. I had a paying job.
Oh, it paid?
No, that didn't pay. You were in
Oh.
an unpaid internship.
Right. My bad.
You're there to learn. Your payment is knowledge, I believe is what they said. So.
Well then, gotta give me some jobs.
So you're thinking about as you're at the table, you're drinking your coffee, you're thinking about all of the ways you have to scrimp and save now to make this 300 gold pieces last. You're
Yeah.
trying to think of all the things to do to make sure that you don't look like a poor person.
Well,
Let
no,
alone be
no.
one. It's terrible. But you're gonna show your daddy that you can do it.
That's right.
So, and then when as you're pondering all this, you hear more than see the plate of food boom right in front of you, where there's lots of breakfast foods and delicious things stacked on top of stuff, and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, this must cost I don't know.
Okay. So as it's put in front of me, I'm like, no. I need some bread and a sausage. That's really all I need. No, just yes. From now on, it will be coffee and a sausage and some bread, just to keep me going in the morning.
So
My eyes are this big.
Oh man, did I ever actually come up with a name for the proprietor of the Quad Iron Inn?
Bruce?
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 No, Bruce is a guy who listens to our stream every once in a while. Hang on, I'm looking.
No.
Wilbert.
Wilbert.
Wilbert Quad Iron.
Yeah, you know what? I have nothing written next to the Quad Iron Inn.
Wilbert Quad Iron.
I like it.
Alright, there we go. His name is Wilbert Quad Iron. And he goes by Will, not Bert.
Right.
Bert's his brother.
Bert is his brother.
Bert Will. Bert
Bert
Will and
Will.
Wilbert. No. So, Will gives you a very strange look. And let's see if he notices how messed up you are.
Thanks.
Yeah, so he's like, are you feeling okay?
Yes,
Miss,
I'm-
would he call you Inari, or would he call you Miss Inari, or would he call you Miss Inari? Something.
Okay.
One thing he would
It-
call
it's
her is late for
Okami.
breakfast.
Okami. Yeah, exactly.
We would probably be on first name basis
Okay,
now, since I've been there for a while.
okay. It's like,
Oh yes, well, I'm very fine this morning. I'm just making some cutbacks.
some cutbacks?
Nothing to be concerned of. It's very fine. I was putting on a little weight, and I don't think I should be eating as much anymore.
He's gonna do a sense motive. Oh, he's so good at sensing
Hold on.
motives.
Okay.
Wow.
So wait, bluff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bluff. Okay, it would just be charisma. So 22.
Oh, you're cute, kid. Because he's a bartender. He's an innkeeper. He's pretty good at knowing people. It's part of the job. So, it's like, this about what happened last night?
Maybe.
Or he would say yesterday afternoon, something like that.
Yes.
I heard your daddy said he's going to cut you off. Is that what you're worried about now?
Yes. Not really worried about it per se. I just need to make sure that I can take care of myself from now on.
You know that you were paid up for like the next 2 months, right?
No, I was not aware.
So, it's like, so he leans forward and he's like, you gave me 10 gold. That's, he's like, and he's like looking at you like, do you remember the sign posted for like what he says? Like, don't you remember these things? That's a lot of money to be throwing around, miss.
I'm sorry. Thank you for
So,
making me aware. Okay.
so,
Um.
you don't gotta worry about slimming down none. you can,
Slim down anymore, you're gonna fall through the baseboards.
yeah, exactly. He's like, you slim down anymore and you're gonna slide through the baseboards.
And then I'll kind of like meekly reach out and pull the plate closer to me.
Thank you.
Face in
so
bowl.
I believe that it was maybe like a silver piece a week for
Okay.
reward there.
That's
And that's expensive. You're like
Yeah.
right in the like big part of town, you know, but you've got a lot of money to go a long way, and you still like you're paid up through at least, like you said, at least another 2 months, so you don't have to worry about where your next meal is gonna come from yet. You've got time.
Okay. Excellent. I don't know how I would survive on one sausage.
You're like, don't you worry now. Everything's taken care of. So, and then he's gonna head off and leave you to your breakfast and maths.
So many maths.
So many maths.
Okay. Well, I will. I'll still eat only like half of the plate because I'm still in the mindset, and then like I'll wrap the rest of it up in like a little food tin that I have, and just like put it in my bag for later, and then I can have it.
Your bento box.
Exactly. What?
Not you, Jay. I'm watching Jay being. Never mind. You guys didn't see it. You didn't see it.
No, I saw the sausage.
But was it only one sausage?
I don't know. It's 12. Anyway, I'll pack up the rest of my food and head. Is it lunchtime? It's probably not lunchtime yet. I don't care. I'll go over to the works.
Okay, you make your way over to the works, scampering through the crowd, making sure that you're not going to be late, because you don't want to be late.
I'll get there 2 hours early.
You're wandering alone through the city?
No, it's fine.
It's daytime.
It's during the daytime.
Oh, right, the watch is out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything's good. So yeah, you scamper over the bridge. Let's see what's number 2. Yeah, you scamper over the North Bridge, heading up to the works. Where you find the doors are open for business. There's people inside, milling about, doing engineering things.
I can't go back in.
And so you stand in front of the open doorway, bouncing slightly on the balls of your feet, leaning in every once in a while to see if you can see anyone, but without stepping into the building itself.
Yep. Looking at the giant clock that's up on the wall. It's a very impressive clock.
Yes, which says you have another hour and 20 minutes before the lunchtime whistle officially blows. What would you like to do?
Did I bring anything with me? I mean, obviously. I guess I'll just doodle in my Libra Mechanica, thinking about the next thing that I'll make, or the math that I remember.
Okay, let's see how many people start noticing you. It's not hard. You're not being very conspicuous. Or inconspicuous.
Yeah, I'm not hiding.
You're not
I'm just
hiding.
kind of...
You're actually quite conspicuous.
I'm sitting on a box, one of the unused boxes that they just kind of store next to the door that eventually people come and pick up and cart off to be used back at the docks again. So I'm sitting up there just kind of waiting.
Okay. So as you wait, you do garner a good portion of stares, especially people who are walking in and out of the building. Some of the engineers closer to the front have taken notice and are and if you look up, whenever you look up from your notes, you'll every once in a while you'll see one of them like just checking to see what the hell you're doing out there. And go ahead and do a perception check for funsies.
20.
Okay, so yeah, you are doodling and looking up, and every time you look up at the clock, it seems to be moving slower and slower. And it's been maybe about 25 minutes before you notice that some of the engineers that were inside seem to have must have been passing a message close, like further back into the shop. That's that one that got kicked out is just hanging out by the front of the door. Anybody know why she's here and who she belongs to, kind of thing? And
They're gonna call the police on you.
yeah. Somebody's they're going to call the city watch to come get her.
For loitering.
There's no signs. There's no signs for no loitering. I'm waiting for lunch. I just got here a little bit early.
Oh my gosh. So if you'll
Is there any loitering?
Yeah, I was just checking my list of crimes. Loitering is not on it,
Thank
Oh, it's
God.
not? Okay, darn.
unfortunately.
That's too bad.
But don't go improperly speeching,
I won't.
because that's the number one.
Absolutely not. Inari knows how to properly speech.
So, before we move forward, I actually did not make the decision as to whether or not Taka is quitting his job or not. So I wanted to actually talk to you guys to see what you think Taka would do and how that conversation would go. And anybody who's in the chat, Taka, her mentor in the engineering guild, said that she is a genius with her engineering skills and is going to tell the foreman of the entire shop that either she comes back or he leaves. And so if you have an opinion, please share it in the chat. We'd love to know if you think it would be more fun to have them back in the shop doing stuff together without having to worry about finding another place to work or possibly doing things that are outside of the normal engineering legality spectrums. Because I'm pretty sure there's rules and shit. Guild rules.
Guild rules.
Zoning.
Zoning.
Zoning rules.
Zoning regulations.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So, yeah.
gosh.
So, because I think it would be cool either way.
Yeah. I mean, to be able to work in like a legit shop, I think it would be really a lot faster because all of the tools are there
Mm-hmm.
and we get more done quicker. Outside, it would still be like outside of the works. It would still be really awesome. It would just slow us down a little bit in the initial because we would have to find a place to set up, like a warehouse or something.
He would be
Ooh, I
at
know
home
of an
with his
abandoned
wives
warehouse.
for several days.
Probably making more children. Because he doesn't need any more, but they happen, so.
I'm sure there's things. I'm sure the wives take care of that with, you know,
Okay.
they go forage for special herbs or,
Right.
you know.
So,
Uh-oh.
establishment
Would hurt them.
Well, it would hurt them, but it wouldn't affect his status with the guild necessarily, right? Because the guild isn't just that shop. The guild is like all of the shops.
That is true in a sense. However, that is the one big Steamworks in Corvus. So, in order to really get out of it, they'd have to like actually find another city with large enough with a good guild presence to like have that kind of be like.
Or, I mean, so even if we do, say we break off, we could still, they could contract us. We could be contractors for certain parts that are like specialty items. So it would honestly hurt the works because Taka is so productive and he's probably their best and most like
Yeah, I mean,
like
Taka,
productive
Taka-
worker.
They're not
I
going to
mean,
want him to leave because he's currently working on a special project, which means he
Yeah.
is the only one that can work on it.
Yep.
It would take months to years for someone to be able to fill those shoes. So for
If they
him,
do at all.
if they can at all. And the only person who probably could would be the person they recently kicked out. And so no matter what, there's no way they're going to get rid of him unless the special project is iffy. And as a chemical engineer and the industrial work that I do, there's a lot of special projects that go along the way. And at some point of all of our work, if something starts to falter, we have to stop and ask ourselves, do we feel the customer's worth it? And so the Engineers Guild would have to ask themselves the question, his project is super special. He's one of 2 people that could work on it. Is the customer worth it? If the customer is worth it, then they're gonna do everything they can to make Taka happy. If the customer's not worth it, it's some Joe Blow who dropped a couple of coin and said do this and then has disappeared and they haven't heard from him in 6 months and stuff like that. It's like, goodbye, Taka. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, but if it's that special of a project, even if the current customer has gone, the shop owner might realize the value of whatever he's working on intrinsically and doesn't want that knowledge to go maybe start up a competing shop in the city that makes a better unique product.
This is true.
Because if he's that brilliant and he's got a brilliant apprentice, then I mean that's competition they might not want.
Exactly. Yeah. I think although she's not going to be happy about saying you can stay, I mean, she's going to give your life hell and make sure to pile on the extra duties. She's going to make you work for that apology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I think that this is that's good. So, and that's kind of along the lines I was thinking. I just didn't know if anybody had like any cool ideas about why they would leave. But I think that this would work out better anyway in the long run for them. So if you imagine what has been going on in that morning in the shop, as Taka had gotten there early, he had taken out all of the plans that you gave him. He had taken out all of his plans, and he spent part of the morning organizing everything before he went up to go talk to what's her face.
Amelia Zora.
Did we pick? I think that we picked an Amelia for a different person too, for John, one of John's characters.
Oh yeah,
one of John's NPCs.
Probably, but mine was Amelia first.
It's true.
Oh yeah, there is an Amelia. It's
the
one of the children.
One of the children. Let's make her Emily then. That makes it easy.
Ooh, that's cute.
Yeah,
that's
like
a cute
Emily.
little girl's name anyway.
So, he goes up to the foreman's person, the shop foreman's office, and comes in, and she's inquiring, like, why did you want to have this meeting today? I don't, like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, boom, puts both of the schematics on the table, and is just, like, pushes them over, and he's like, look at these. And so she starts looking through them, and she's like, okay, they look exactly the same. Why are we here? You're wasting my time. And it's like, I did this one on my own. Inari did this one on her own. She's got ideas. She's got ideas that are going to help me do this and blah. And so then he goes into like this whole spiel about how if she can do this by herself with like zero real education, and I've been doing this for how many years, I can teach her how to do what I do and better in half the time. So so he's going, and of course he talks a mile a minute, so every once in a while he'll like pause for breath and she can get in a question or two. And then he'll answer those questions and be, like explain what he thinks a good training plan will be for getting this stuff going, for getting your education, for putting in like that kind of stuff. And then she goes into, well, what happens when you just teach her all this stuff and then she leaves? It's like, well, you can have her sign a contract or something. That we do that. So they are negotiating your essentially your reinstatement and possible full addition to the Engineers Guild proper. So. so that took probably. Oh yeah.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mute it for a second.
Okay, hold on.
So it'd be cool.
Okay.
She's going to give her a job position.
Yes, and also
We
some more plum wine.
reexacting
Plum
her
wine.
instead of her
Wine.
being
Plum wine for the plum goods.
intern. She's always
Yep.
been at a
That's
position
what
in the
we're
job.
saying.
Yes.
And so because of her, what she did, she's now going to get her job
Yes, please.
and be punished. So she will be going with 1 year without pay,
Yes.
no leave time incurred for the next year. Basically, like, fair enough. I'll give it back to her. She can have a job, but I'm going to punish her right out the door. Something like that.
Yeah,
That was my thought.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Okay.
So, okay. Excellent. So, that's like a very brief vignette into the morning that Taka and Amelia were having, negotiating your future. So, as you're sitting there, waiting and waiting and
Yep.
waiting.
Collecting
and
looks.
waiting, you wait so long that they actually had to get you off of the crate because they were taking it away and putting down a new one. So by the time that's done and over with, you're standing there awkwardly waiting for another crate to come out so you can sit on it. And then you see Taka coming down, bounding down the stairs from where the shop foreman's office is.
I keep watching, like I try to keep line of sight on him as long as possible, moving back and forth, far enough away from the door opening as to not get in anybody's way, but back and forth enough to watch him walk down the stairs
Okay.
and across the catwalk and
Yeah. So
hopefully he sees me.
So he's moving so fast that he jumps off the last couple steps off of the thing onto the shop floor, and then he was walking actually away from you back towards where his space is, and he gets about halfway there before one of the other engineers gives that really loud whistle that people do that I can't do to get attention, and and he spins around and then he sees one of the other humans, really a middle-aged human, dark hair, greased all over him kind of thing. He's one of the grease monkeys, I suppose would be the best way to put it. He's in there turning bolts and shit. Points over to the door, and you see Taka turn around and he's like. And because it's light outside, it's hard to get something so you see him squinting for a second and to moving his head a little bit, trying to see beyond the brightness of the outside into what's out there, and then he realizes what he's seeing is a tiny person, and so that he's familiar with. So he instead of going back that way, he comes directly up to you and says, "You're here early."
I couldn't wait. I've been here for probably an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
Yeah.
You probably could have been finding something else more important to do than just sitting here waiting, or standing here waiting for things to go on.
No, I did. And then I'll pull up my book and I'll say, I finally finished that one equation that I was really, really stuck on. And then I'll turn it around and point it, put my book down where he can see it.
So he'll squint at it a little bit, and then he'll take his little glasses that he has out of his pocket up front and just puts them on because he has reading glasses.
You do.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, and that's it. So that's what he's like, and then with one single nod, and then it's come on, we have to go. So and he turns quickly around and walks back inside the building. He's like, come on, we have things to do.
Wait. And then I'll grab my book and clutch it to my chest and run up behind him. It's like, what do you mean? Did she say I could stay?
Well, yes. But we have to you'll squee.
Yeah.
It's like, but we have to go back out there because there's paperwork that you have to sign, and she has to talk to you about things that are very important about your future. And you have to listen to her and do as she says.
Okay.
So instead of going back down, because you see that he actually had the whole papers all rolled up under his arm kind of thing, and so instead he was going to put them back down and then come find you or wait for you or whatever, but now they're just going straight back up to the office where he knocks on the door and, comes back inside, and she's like, well, that was fast, and then she sees you coming in. It's like, oh. That was fast. And so he's like, she was waiting outside. So, she was waiting outside. Okay, come on here. And so she beckons you forward, and you take the very careful, precarious steps towards her desk.
Yes.
Where you see that it's actually a lot cleaner than it was the other times that you've come in here. And you see that she's got a couple pieces of parchment out, or paper out, that she's writing on. And as you look at it, you see that she's writing out a contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I make out what the contract says?
Yeah, so it says that on such and such date, Inari Okami agrees to, and then that's when you kind of lose your thing, when you see your name written, scripted out, agrees to, and then a bullet point list of different things that just kind of blur as new tears start coming into your eyes.
I'll kind of sit there and rub my eyes a little bit, trying to play it off. Hold on. Oh, I'm so good at rolling today. Alright, 23.
Okay.
On my bluff to hide my tears.
Okay, so yeah, you do well with that piece of dust in your eye.
Yeah. Terrible dust.
It's so dusty. Hay fever's the worst.
Yeah, allergies.
Allergies. So, so she, it takes her a moment to keep writing, and Taka showed me, and she's saying this while she's writing, she's not looking up at you, which is probably also helpful to hide your tears from, since she's not even looking at you right now.
Yeah.
It's like, Taka showed me what you did. Scribble, 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 scribble. It's very impressive. Scratch, 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 scratch. I think you can learn a lot here. But, so and in between, punctuated by scratches of quill on paper. It's like, but you need rules. And then she and you hear the, and then and as she signs stuff and then spins the paper around and pushes it over to you, and on there is a list of requirements for your what do you call it, reinstated what?
Reinstatement of.
Yeah. Reinstatement of your position as apprentice engineer. And what else? What does she have?
Reinstatement of your position and internship, employment.
Yeah. Your reinstatement of your position and employment under the Steamworks. You'll notice that it actually does not say internship on it.
Does it have a value sign anywhere? Because, I got to do more maths.
Let's see, what would an apprentice engineer who has been officially contracted to a Steamworks, what would be a good starting wage for that?
5 to 10 copper a month.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe.
I mean,
maybe. Yeah.
Give you an idea. Starting doctor back in more medieval times, when silver was the currency, I was reading an article, and he would get paid 20 to 30 silver a month by the king.
Nice.
Of France.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a physician who cut out wounds and bled people and put bones back together and stuff.
Yeah.
He got paid 20 silver a month.
Yeah. So, let's say like what? Would that be maybe a silver a month or what? I didn't hear. I don't remember what you said.
5 to 10 copper.
5 to 10 copper. Yeah. So it says that the contract is for 5 to we'll say a silver piece every month, and on top of that it will have listed your commissions for any work that you do, the percentage that you would get paid from those commissions, because that everybody will tell you that's where the money's at, is the commissions. So especially yeah, and so it'll have. I don't know, like, what do you think? 15% is a good commission? I don't really know.
2 to 5% for non-salesmen is really good commission, considering, like, if I got commission on the jobs I do, my paychecks would have a few extra $1,000 in them, because we get paid. The jobs we do are pretty high end. A jack itself costs in the thousands of gold pieces. Mm-hmm. So 2 to 3% of thousands of gold pieces is a really good bonus.
What is that?
I mean, if a jack costs 20,000 gold pieces, 2% of that is going to be
200?
400. 400 gold pieces out of 20,000.
Okay, yeah. So that sounds good. So, and then a 2% commission on all of the things that you do. With, and obviously this is like the basic employment contract, and she'll begin to explain to you all of the things that are going on. Like, this is where you start, and then everything gets reevaluated after a year, and then you move forward, and if you've passed everything, and if your mentor says that you're ready to move on to the next level, then we would renegotiate your contract or rewrite your contract. So she's explaining a lot of the legal stuff while you're just kind of standing there dumbfounded that this is really happening in your life.
I'll keep looking over to Taka for reassurance kind of thing. Like, whenever she says the money portion, I'll kind of look over at him kind of knowingly.
Yeah, and he shrugs with it's not bad. Probably not the best, it's like, it's not bad. It's definitely not the worst. Could it be better, but So that's the kind of gesture that you see when he shrugs his shoulders. And then so that she goes over all of those things, and you're going to need to sign and date here, and your initial needs to go over here, and she takes out and then you see the other piece of paper that she had and pushes over, and this is what's that word? Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
What is the word where it's not bill, this is not it's not, but it's like that.
Getting paid.
This is how much you owe us for all the shenanigans you pulled.
It's all about the money.
But it's only a silver.
It's okay. It's like, Michael Bay had to start somewhere.
Twitch one. Roll 20. Not the roll 21. The original box set. Twitch one right there. Click. Now click on another window.
It's all right.
Click on Dick.
It's all right.
See
You and
Dick over
Tucker are gonna own this town.
Thesaurus.
Or just make a Jack army to take it over,
Bill?
and then you'll own it anyways.
Invoice?
Make a Jack army.
Yeah. It could be invoice is a word. Statement.
That's
Invoices and
terrifying.
Like a magical powered Jack army. They're not even steam powered anymore, so you can't
indebtedness.
you can't put out the
Statement of
fires
debt.
to shut them
I
down.
would say statement of debt. Or
But you
statement
can
of
explode
indebtedness?
the small
Yes,
reactor
that's what I
cores
just
that we will
said.
install
Okay,
in
yeah.
them.
Well, I hope you armor
Okay.
plate them.
All right, so I had to find the correct verbiage for this, so I apologize. And then she slides over another piece of paper, and at the top it's titled "Statement of Indebtedness."
But uh-huh.
This is the secondary portion of your contract, where you, as part of your rehabilitation into this program, will forego your salary for the next year to pay for the damages done to the shop. And Taco was like, it's a small price to pay for being able to come back here. And I did manage to make sure that she didn't take out your commissions. You're like, he's right. I could have done this a little faster, but you would have been poorer for it.
Okay, so just my salary though. I get to keep the commissions.
Yes.
So your 300 gold has to last you the next year. Oh, what will you do?
I know, right?
I won't be able to buy pretty things anymore. No, I'm kidding.
You might have to, move out of the Quad Iron Inn in, 2 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it's a silver a week, it'd be 52 silver.
5 gold.
Yeah.
5.5 gold a year.
Okay, so yeah, he wouldn't have said 10 gold. He probably was like, you paid me 5 gold. So yeah, that was like...
Okay.
Well, that's
Well,
just to
2 or
live there.
2
I mean,
yeah.
does that silver week include breakfasts?
I think so.
Because, I mean, that silver week could include breakfast, or breakfast and lunch, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or 2 meals a day.
Yeah, I was thinking 2 meals a day.
2 meals a
breakfast
day,
and dinner.
that's a really good one.
Yeah. Especially because you're paying for the extended stay. Like other people, if they were staying for a week or less, it would be more expensive. But
Yeah.
you got the long-term deal.
Okay.
It may still be cheaper for you to move out and find your own place. But then you'd have to deal with the landlord, and the landlord's not going to feed you.
That's true. And landlords might be worse.
Yeah.
And I trust Will.
Yeah. So, there you go.
We already have good rapport. I'm a good tenant. So I straighten myself up. And I'll reach over and grab her pen. I'll look over to Taka.
The faster you sign, the faster we can get to work.
And then I'll pull the papers closer to me and start signing.
Excellent. So, you are now officially employed by the Steamworks of Corvus.
Congratulations.
And an apprentice under Taka. You have other rules that you have to follow as far as, the amount of output that you have to do, basically the weight that you have to pull around to make your investment worthwhile, or investment in you worthwhile. And then, cleaning up the shop stuff, because you're also going to be doing that kind of thing too, where you're going to have to clean up the shop and do all this kind of stuff. Now that you're an official employee, employee/apprentice, that'll be a thing you have to do. And Taka will show you the ropes of what it is to go around and clean up the shops and do the things and make sure everything's in its right place and stuff. A little bit more of an orientation than what you got before, as far as a day in the life of an apprentice engineer. And when that's over, then you can get to work doing stuff.
Whoop, whoop.
Today you are not able to work on your research projects. Today is one of the days where he has to work on one of the jacks that came in that needs repairs, and so that's what he's doing, because it's one of the more complex dock jacks that they have. It's bigger, and it's got a lot more moving parts on the inside than a normal jack would, for, you know, being able to lift and drag and do things that on a much bigger level, like it could lift up a ship if it needed to, kind of thing. It's one of those kind of jacks that you see them on the docks, and they're really big, and usually they're bolted down to like the docks themselves. So you're working on one of those today, which they had to bring in, like, to open up the big doors to make sure that it could come in. So the thing takes up it's actually not even in his little space. It takes up a specialized portion of the back of the shop where there's all of the larger tools, because he has his power suit, and so he's able to use this power suit that he's built to work on it more efficiently than a normal human person would be able to. So that's
Indeed. And I'm really good with levers and pulleys and Spider-Manning wherever I need to go.
Mm-hmm. You can squeeze through on the inside. So
Yep.
we will leave you at that, unless there's anything that you would like to say or do before we move on to someone else.
Yes. Really, it's a short conversation with Taka about Our Lady of Gears. Hold on. Yes. The machine goddess.
How do you bring this up?
Oh, God. Probably in like my usual fashion, because I'm sure Taka's pretty used to how I speak very bluntly and nonchalant about things. But I would probably wait until because he does take lunch. It's a very short lunch, and it's about that time. So
okay, yeah, so
we sit down, and he pulls out his lunch that his wife has lovingly, prepared and wrapped for him. And I pull out my leftovers from breakfast in my 10 box.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm just kind of like taking the top off and like getting ready, getting my utensils and everything, I go, so I have a question, Taka.
Yeah, what's going on?
I would like to know more about Cyrus. As I put food into my mouth.
So you do like a stealth whisper followed by shoving your face, pretending that you didn't say it.
Exactly.
Okay. So as you do that, he actually kind of halfway spits out his drink that he just started on. and you see him, he looks like really like around really fast, just to see like who is around in this moment that may or may not have heard that word come out. It's like, and then he looks at you like, probably can't talk about that right now. It's like, so, it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So,
okay.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird, because before, like, when nobody was around, like, he spoke about it in a way that seemed like, oh, it's okay to talk about. So it seems unusual to you to have him react that way.
Okay. Maybe I was mistaken.
Well, I'm sure it's something that we can figure out later. Maybe you heard it from somewhere else.
Maybe. But yeah, later.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't I don't big obvious wink at him. Oh, hello. Fluffy princess. Oh, I cannot hear anything.
Did they mute themselves?
No, I don't know.
Did she pull the...
Did she pull it out?
No, it's all plugged in.
I can't hear you!
Did she step on the keyboard?
Chicken! I don't know.
No,
I can't see any.
it's turned down pretty low, but not like super low. No,
I
they
can't
definitely
Yeah, I can't. We can't hear
can't hear a word they're saying.
Yeah, I can't hear what they're saying.
Oh. There we go. Something happened. Now I can hear you. Or I can hear
we
Jay.
can hear Jay.
Oh.
Yeah, I was muted. I wasn't talking. That's why you didn't hear me.
What's in the chat? No, Sophia, you have done something
Hello.
terrible by remote.
Hello.
We can't hear you, Kathy.
I can't hear you either.
Yeah, I can't hear Cassie either.